Hi everyone, Heidi from Minds Connect here. Thank you for joining me. As you hop on, say hi. It is Saturday and it in Australia, and it is also Anzac Day today. So this is the day in Australia when we remember the people that fought for our freedom, or so we've been told. So yeah, that aside, I'm not going to bring my opinions into this one. It is lovely to have you on tonight. If you're watching wherever you're from, say hi. Drop a hi in the comments below and let me know where you're tuning in from. If you happen to be watching the replay on this, as it's posted up later, let us know where you're coming in from, and just hashtag replay. So tonight in Life Lessons, which I've decided to call this whole series that I'm doing now, calling it Life Lessons. Hi Alberto, thanks for tuning in. It's all about mindset, and it's actually about how are you doing your stucking. So how do you keep yourself in a state of being stuck, which means not moving forwards? It also implies and does mean not achieving the things you set out to, because you're keeping yourself in a state of being stuck. So for those beautiful people tuning in, say hi, drop it in the box below and let us know where you're tuning in from. So we are talking about mindset tonight. Now, what stories are you currently running in your head that keep you stuck? It's a very curious question, and I wonder if anyone is actually game to share any stories. And they don't mention other people's names, please. I'm a big one on respecting other people's privacy and not bringing opinions into things. Lovely, Alberto from the USA. Beautiful, lovely to have you on tonight. So we quite often tell ourselves stories. I actually work with people in my clients in my coaching business on head, heart and gut, and bringing those into alignment, because the head is responsible for how we think and meaning making and the beautiful stories we tell ourselves, and sometimes the not so beautiful stories we tell ourselves. It's also in charge of organizing things. When it is able to function and you're able to have clear thought and clarity, then it is able to also receive messages up from the heart, which are quite often feelings or emotions, sensations, the way we connect with ourselves and others. And these messages come up into our head brain. About 80% of the time, neuroscience suggests that 80% of the time, the messages come up from the body and the heart up into the head brain via your vagal nerve in your spine. So, yeah, procrastination is a big one, and I will be doing another one on another life lesson live on that. I love that, so be sure to tune in for that. I wonder if I should do it tomorrow, not put it off. So, what is the story that we're running in our head? Is it about that you want to put something off? Is it about that, oh, I can't do that now, this is more important? It could be something like that. It could also actually be something that your story you're telling yourself about the way you're behaving around others or in your own life, to do with the food you eat, to do with how much you exercise or how much you don't exercise, to do with how you communicate with others in all kinds of different relationships, whether they be with friends or business partners or intimate partners. So we tell ourselves a story, and what happens is we base it mostly on our experiences from the past. because we like to feel safe and we like to feel secure, right? So whilst we like to feel safe and secure, we like to try and base our behaviors now, in the now, on something that's happened to us in the past. And what happens is our perception of what may have occurred in the past becomes distorted. Things come into our field of awareness and we delete information and we distort information and we change it to match our beliefs and our values at the time. And this is also how you're able to change your perception later on of an event that may have occurred to you. You're able to see it in a different way. When you're able to actually shift out of the perception that you were in and change it to look from a different viewpoint, or some people like to call it a different lens or a different map of the world. So it's a different viewpoint, it's a different way of looking at it, at the situation. And this is a really great way to help you become unstuck. It's only one of the ways that can be used and is used regularly by me and many other coaches to actually help you rewrite the stories that are going on in your mind about the life you're living, about the way you're showing up, about the way other people are relating to you and you are relating to them, all of it. So, what if there was an even easier way? Would you like to know? Drop a yes below if you'd like to know. There is an easier way. I find it a very useful way, that other way, to teach people how to actually start to view things differently. It's very valid, it's very important. It's a wonderful technique to use, and I encourage people to continue doing that. It takes time to cultivate the ability to actually be able to step outside of your viewpoint and see it from a different way. It does take experience, it does take practice. You need to exercise that muscle, if you like, and actually start to practice it. Ah, beautiful. Alberto, you're all over it tonight. So, and Daisy, thanks for tuning in from England again. Lovely to have you on. So, an easier way to stop that loop of that story running, because it becomes a loop, doesn't it? The story we're telling ourselves, quite often, we have it on replay. It's like an old record going round and round and playing the same story, the same song over and over and over and over. And you believe it. And the more you tell that story to other people, they believe it because you've told that story so many times. You might have even heard like your father or a very close friend or something, and they've told you a story about something. And you're like, oh, here they go again. They're telling me the same story and they're still stuck. So the easiest way I found to break this loop is when it occurs to become aware of it. That's the first step here, is to become aware that you're telling yourself that story again. So at first, when you start to become aware of the stories you've been telling, you catch them after they've come out of your mouth, or after you've written them in an email or a text message or something like that to someone. So you're catching them after you've told them again. And it's quite often that people will feel regretful or they will feel guilt, things like this, to be able to, because they're not catching it quick enough. They feel like there's pressure. And this is all an illusion. You are creating your own pressure. So the best thing to do is just breathe and go, you know what? I've got this. I caught it. It doesn't matter when you caught it. Just catch it. So catch it into your awareness that you had that thought again or that story. Then the second phase of this is to literally just say thank you. By saying the words thank you, you're doing a few things. You're doing yourself a massive favor because you close the loop. You actually stop the loop from keep going. It actually stops. And it goes, hang on a minute. You said thank you and you accepted me. It also frees up energy and space in your brain to create a new neural pathway with a new thought. So what happens when you begin this process of awareness and catching your old stories, you catch them quicker each time. And it becomes quite exciting. When I first started doing this for myself on my own personal journey a few years ago, I actually had an enormous amount of joy and pleasure, happiness from actually catching my stories and catching them quicker each time. From catching them after they've been sent out, to catching them as they start to get sent out, to catching them when they're still in my head, to catching them as they start to form. And then in this process, you catch them faster, 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 say thank you. Then the new thought comes in. Now, at the beginning, when you begin this, the new thought that actually comes in will just be another story. It really literally will be another story that you have also been running in a loop. So, this may take you some time to move through, and it takes persistence. You need to be very gentle and kind to yourself while you're moving through it, and just keep saying thank you. Like, really mean it from your heart. Thank you. No matter how bad that story is. Don't make it bad. It's not good or bad or ugly. Maybe it feels that way. Just let it be. If you don't attach a good or a bad or ugly to it, it doesn't actually mean anything. You take away the value to that story. Straight away, you're taking the weight off it, and the weight off your shoulders, perhaps. So, you catch your thought into your awareness. You say thank you. You allow space for the new thought to come in, and you repeat this process. You keep repeating this process until you have no old looping thoughts coming in. When you get to that point, and that may happen quickly for you if you've already been on your personal development journey for a little while. It may take some time if you haven't been practicing anything like this, and that's okay. All of it is divine. All of it is perfect. Just trust the process. Once you have actually caught that, and there's no more old stories running like that in the loop after your series of thank you, that's a wonderful story, thank you, yep, heard that one before, I'm pretty sure I've heard that chapter before, I've read that chapter many times, I'm pretty sure I wrote it. Thank you. Just say thank you. And then your new thought will form, and you are able to put energy and effort, conscious effort and energy into choosing a thought you want to create, choosing a thought pattern that may serve you better, choosing a new viewpoint on the story, or the most exciting part is to actually start to write yourself a new story and tell yourself a brand new story. That's the most exciting part. And it all begins with catching the old thought, the old story, saying thank you, throwing that gratitude on it, and closing that loop, saying thank you, done. And not make it mean anything. Don't make it mean anything. Don't justify it. You'll want to initially. We're really funny creatures of habit like that. We like to justify ourselves, even to us. We like to prove ourselves, even to ourselves. But in this case, for this particular activity, you don't need to do any of those things for this strategy. So I invite you to all have a go at this over the next week. This is going to take time. It's going to be loads of fun. It is loads of fun. And start to laugh at the funny stories that you're telling yourself. They are quite incredible. They're very creative. You might have felt like you've lost your creativity, but once you start to become aware of them and you say thank you, you go, wow, that's a really, what I've been telling myself that, and I've been believing that for like 10 years or however long, and it's not necessary. So I'm going to leave you with this. I've got my little notes on the side, so I'm going to keep looking over here. I'm going to leave you with this tonight. You get to choose. You always get to choose. You get to choose to remain stuck and caught in that loop of your stories in your head, or you get to choose to move forwards and just say thank you. So be mindful of your stories. Happy thinking and catching those thoughts and going through this process. I really appreciate the feedback. So if you can drop in below, was this helpful? Is this something you're going to have a go at? Please feel free to share this video as well. I'm going to share it onto my personal page as well, but please share it wide, spread it out there. The more people I can help and that we can reach with these kinds of messages, the better. Because you know, it's about lifting each other up and helping each other to step into this new, even more beautiful version of you. So Heidi from Minds Connect, thank you very much. Namaste. Good night.